What's up, guys? Appointment should be coming in probably about 15-20 minutes. Trying some stuff out in the meantime. Everything was broken yesterday, so we gotta make sure it's all fixed today. Okay, so I can hear you guys, but I can't see the messages. It's right here. It's invisible. Should be here soon. We're kicking things off a little early. I'm kind of scared to close this because I think the whole chat software has been messing up. Let's give them a late fee, even though they're scheduled for 1:30. Yeah, so they should be here in about 20. I'm just early. What do I do here? Maybe we should just do pop out, or do I close this? Ooh, I'm nervous. All right, we'll close it. We'll open it back up. Oops, it's broken. Oh, no, it just logged me out again. I logged in. It brought up the thing. Yeah, they're doing some funky stuff with the software right now. I think it's good now. Ooh, that was dicey. You don't bottom load? I only bottom load when it makes sense to. Ah, yep, we're good now. What was the guy's name you told me yesterday? Sorry, I was to get unbanned. Sorry, it was inconvenient for me yesterday. Can you tell me again? I'm gonna make you go back and find it in the live stream. You just gotta listen to all 4 hours of it. You never bottom load? Never say never. I put out a video not long ago about bottom loading. I just don't typically do it. I do it when it makes sense for me to do it. It's T-Town. He's literally here in the chat. Once a year? Yeah, that's about right. Make him buy a shirt. Make him buy a T-Town shirt first. Jet Black, I'm here too, one of the mods. I forget that. You changed your name a while ago. It's all good, though. I don't care. Bottom load, 2 stage, it's all good. Just put out good work. It's actually incredibly annoying once somebody gets banned to then go back and unban them if you're not by a computer. Is this your name in the group? Same name and everything? Like, We don't have some crazy, cool background stuff. It's really like the back end of the whole Facebook group is kind of janky. Like we have so many members that I don't think Facebook really accommodates for large groups like that. So then I always have to like dig through stuff. Where even is the things? Members? Where's members? Take it back. It's even more annoying when you're on desktop. Are they? Oh, I don't have the software. That's why. Hey! Anthony Bays. Jet Black. Thank you. I appreciate that. Did you shrink that Lexan rear windshield? No, actually I forgot yesterday. I did it off stream like last week sometime just to see, because I didn't realize I have like 2 boxes sitting up there. But they're the HSA stuff. I didn't think I had any of the HSA. Oh, sorry, I missed the first one. Daniel Reyna, thank you so much for the 2. How are you? I'm doing good. Things are good. And with the 5. Appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, things are going good. Staying busy enough. Having fun. How's business? I'm so busy. Look at all this work. No, it's been consistent enough. It hasn't been like crazy busy, but the auto climate is going through some stress right now. But I got something coming in. No, that's actually Jack. Jack is helping out with all the orders and stuff right now. He was on vacation. Daniel Reyna again with the 2. Appreciate your expertise. Thanks, man. I appreciate having you around. It's good to see you again. Where did you get your heat box? That one I got from Tint Depot. A lot more people seem to have the rotating heat box. Tint Depot has them. Sun Distributing. It's like, I think, $180. Let me see. All right. Is this working? All right, cool. You know, this email thing drives me crazy. Every time I think this is the search bar, but it's this little box down here. Heat. Whoa! Oh my God, you guys. This one. This is the one that I have. Who was that? Oh, Daniel Reyna with the 5. Thank you. When are you going to the Philippines? We went. We went to the Philippines. So it's still probably going to be. We're not going this winter, but maybe like mid next year we might go, or earlier, like maybe March next year. I don't think it's going to be too long. But yeah, we were gone in the wintertime for like 6 weeks. Do you like Jollibee? Yes, I like Jollibee. Here's the problem though, is we actually don't have Jollibees around here. They're supposed to be building one over in Sterling Heights. I don't know what's going on with that, but the other closest ones are in Chicago and Canada. Other than that, when you're over there, we went to Jollibee, but McDo actually has better chicken than Jollibee does in the Philippines. Go figure. They actually do fried chicken over there. And then they do all the other stuff. They do like the spaghetti and stuff. So we end up going to McDo a lot too. Oh, do you have to hold the button down, or is this on the switch? Oh, yeah. So for this heat box, it's on a 2-minute timer. So you press it once, it turns on, and it's got a relay in the underneath that'll automatically shut off after 2 minutes so you don't accidentally leave it on. Rotating heat boxes are far better than the slides. I've had the slides. The rotating one's better. So this, there's too much time in between changing out slides, and you always have that, like, you can just turn it really quickly with the rotating ones. They're so nice. Pair that. Oh, yeah, this is kind of cool. You should get a meter with it, too, but they should do the rotating one. Daniel Reyna. Thank you again. Do you like lechon? Yes, yes. We had 2. So we were there for Christmas and New Year's, and then we also, my son had a baptism, so we did like a big family get together, and we bought 2 of those while we were there. So one of the days, I think they bought one and had it taken care of somewhere else. I don't remember. Oh, wait, no. They bought a smaller one. But the first one, he had a giant pig. We kept it out back for like 3 days, and then you'd hear it go, and then they killed it one day. It was tasty. My McDo cups are always getting in the way. I have a 2016 CLA 45 Benz right now. I dryer sheeted the back glass. It won't lay down. I have to wet shrink. Any reason why? What dryer sheets are you using? And you're not doing something that I'm doing. Because a Mercedes CLA 45 is pretty straightforward. What I find too is, like, there's too many general things. I don't know. It's gonna look something like this. It's gonna look something like this guy right here. Yeah, that's really straightforward. Even if it's older, it's not gonna be anything crazier than that. But watch, like, the number of, like, God, what did I do? This one? Oh, no, that's the one where I spread out the fingers there. We got all that stuff. Maybe it's on YouTube. Lots of shorts. Go through all the shorts. Yeah, TikTok's been crazy. We're almost at 100,000 on TikTok, but I haven't made anything in a minute. TikTok would probably be the better way to go. Thank you. Dan O'Reina, thank you for the 5. Does your wife have single cousins? Maybe we can start a tint shop in the Philippines and teach her cousins to tint. Yes. Yes, for sure. They're a little out of like a main city and stuff. I don't think anybody's here yet. It's hard to describe. So they're like 3 hours north of Manila, but they're on the main island. All right, which TikTok do we want to go to? It doesn't tell me time. Oh, yeah, this one. Like, watch some recent, like the couple of recent YouTube videos especially. So this was about the doors, and then watch this. This is for the back window. Dry shrink prep, or you could substitute that with Snuggles dryer sheets. Set it up basically the same way. But this, I show the difference between the ways that I was shrinking. Oh, no. This one, I actually just show this method of shrinking. Just... But yeah, definitely the recent YouTube videos. I'm going all over the place, but... Videos, shorts. No, they'd be under videos. Yeah, these recent ones. Best solutions for shrinking. Watch that one.
That's actually a product. That's what's in this baggie right here, but it goes for ourselves about an inch over.
I show dry shrink prep and I show, here, I'm going to link this. I show dry shrink prep and I show dryer sheets. Did that even work? Okay, something like that. Anyways. What? Jet Black, how do you know, do you know what Inaco? Oh, Inaco? Inaco. Yeah, my wife says it all the time. It's when I do something that frustrates her. That's when I hear that word. She's actually wondering, how do you know that word? When you order film, how many rolls do you usually get? I just get what I need for the most part. I would generally order and have a second roll on standby, but it just depends on how fast I go through it. So if it's ceramic, I generally just keep one on hand. And then when I'm getting towards the end of the roll, I order something. With like Pro Classic or C2, I will generally have a second roll on standby if it's the main stuff that I use. And then if it's more even frequent, like the 15% or the 40%, I'll only keep one on hand. But I used to have like 2 of everything. So as soon as I open like the next box, then I reorder some film rolls. Oh, okay. I live near a neighborhood that is primarily all Mexicans and Filipinos. Went to high school with a lot of them. Yep, I hear that a lot. I know. That's great. It always seems like there's so many like Filipino connections like that. It like comes up all the time. Hey, it's me. Do you date your customers? I'm not talking about me, just kidding. This guy always has posts like this. It's so funny. Built my backpack, love it. Very cool. Are they gonna hit the flags? Shek is funny. He's got the most annoying customers, and he likes to post about them. Got a call from a customer saying this film is messed up. I know it's minimum contamination, but would you redo this? Okay, one, definitely wipe off the window to take a picture. That makes it really hard to see, but there's some specks right here and some here that you can see underneath the rain. So if you wiped it off, it'd probably look worse. And then on this one, I don't know what window we're at, but there's a few lines here. Probably a couple little crinkles when he was installing it. You could have probably touched that up before it even went out, but you sometimes see the line on the inside. I don't know. But as long as you press the air out, most people don't notice that, depending on where it is. But here's the thing. A couple little specks. This is, the one in the middle is a little bigger. When you have like one speck here, another speck here, or something like that, most people aren't going to notice that. But when they do notice that, you're going to want to take care of it for sure. Like it's something you might not even notice when you deliver a car. Because those spots will generally be full of water anyways, like a little bit of water, masking them quite a bit. So when you deliver a car, go over it as best you can. Obviously, you're never going to have a perfect tint job. But yes, it's definitely worth fixing. Hello, Tint Studio. How can I help you? Yeah, we're around the back corner of the building. Are you up front right now? Oh, okay. Yeah, just... Yep, you're at the right place. Just drive around. You'll see a white Blazer and a blue Civic out back. All right, see you in a minute. Yeah, we're at the rear corner. All right, bye. Cool. My appointment is almost here. Tint slip got delivered today. I was licking it up. It was licking a bit in the box. Oh, leaking. It was leaking in the box? Was it a gallon? Or was it the smaller bottles? Yikes, that's not good. Did anything get damaged? How much would you charge? How much would you charge for a whole car? in Pro Geo Tint in California. I want to start my own business. Need some advice. In what Geo? Pro Classic or Pro Nano? Ooh, it's a gallon? Really? And it's leaking? Yikes. Just a little or did a lot? All right, my customer's up there. Oh, one sec. I'll be back. Oh, look at all those icons.
I got a key.
All right, I'm gonna pull this in. We gotta get going here. Pro Nano. Pro Nano is better. But that's kind of a loaded question then. So I don't suggest just getting one film. I suggest getting more than one and giving people some options. But we'll get to that. One sec. Okie dokie. Well, what's up? We got a car. See, this is where they usually start. That's the part that usually I talk to a customer, figure out what we're doing, but yes, we're doing a Buick Regal. I forgot about that too. I took it out of the title.
Little border there, little border all the way around. Nice. Then we're gonna find our center point.
Wait.
And actually tack it pretty.
There we go. Let me mute that. That was odd seeing him drive one in. Yeah, you guys don't usually see that part. But it's the only additional thing. Pull it in, roll the windows down. We're expecting a snowstorm in the mountains. Yeah, it got cold, man. See, April, for the past, I don't know how long this has been happening, probably every year for as long as I can remember. But I've only really noticed it in the past couple of years. April likes to do this FU weather where it gets warm, and then everybody's like, it's spring, and then it dies back down and goes, fuck you. Can Jack sign my order? Did you put one in today or yesterday? Because if you put one in yesterday, it already shipped. They call it a fake spring. It is. It's so annoying. Yesterday, it shipped. Sorry, man. Did the customer leave or is he waiting? He is, he said he's going to hang around for a little and then catch a ride. You got an employee? Yeah, his name's Jack. He's been here for the past year. It'll be a year, I think, next month. Okay, we'll have to put in a new one then. Okay, let's try that. Is that good? Sweet. Jack's been south. You just haven't been here that much. Microphones. Oh yeah, we gotta do TikTok. Let's fire that one up too. True. That's funny. That's extra funny because it's like people come in here and be like, "Long time no see," and it's like, I've been here. Where have you been? But yeah, if he wasn't here, orders would not ship very quick at all. Well, actually, that's not true. My wife has been coming in and doing orders. If it was up to me to do all the orders, they would not all go so quick. All right. All right, so we're doing ceramic on this one too. All right, we're live on TikToks. Should be good. Jack's leaving for school. Yes, he's not going to be here all that much longer, which is a bummer. Big bummer. Because then I got to find somebody else too. All right, there we go. Before everybody panics and says, he didn't change it. What's up, Lucas? Nice live stream earlier. I caught some of it. It's cool to see other people doing this. The film trainer with the 5. Thank you. Why didn't the thing work? What's wrong with the thing? Oh, it's on scene 2. I hate when that happens. Oh, God. The film trainer with the 5. Thank you. If you had $1,000 to start your business, what would you buy? Ooh, that's a good question, because now I have, like, limits. Okay, so I would buy 3 36-inch rolls of film, and I'd spend the rest of it on tools. I would get 5, 20, and 35. Are you going to use the plotter? Maybe? But yeah, I would see what my tool budget was too. So like I would buy a Fusion squeegee handle, or the regular handle that I sell is actually, no, get the regular one. That'll save you a little bit of money. Ooh, I like this question a lot. I'd buy the regular squeegee handle. I would buy probably the Blue Max squeegee blade or the hybrid, honestly. Both of them would be pretty good. I'd buy stainless steel knife. I would buy stainless steel blades. I would buy the shank, a couple tri-edges. Dang. Basically everything that I sell. Just, you don't need that much though. Bulldozer and a side swipe. I'd skip out on the tail fin maybe for a minute because you don't need it on most cars. Pro Classic and everything. That'd be great. Yeah, you could definitely make it work off of $1,000. That's such a good idea because it's that should be a video. What's the alternative name for this tape? The name of this tape is Seal Guard. Yeah, you really don't need like about $300 for all the tools you need. That is so inexpensive for starting anything. Like you can buy an impact gun for like easily $400 or $500. One tool. Window tinting, you can get like every tool that you need. I would get a pump sprayer too instead of a tint keg. Keep a Zepp spray bottle handy. But yeah, you don't really need all that much. But yeah, I can make a video. That's a really good idea. Every tool, like if you had $1,000 to spend on film and tools, what would you buy? I went with your squeegee handle. That squeegee handle is awesome. The Fusion handle is a little bit better, but the difference is like $30 versus like $8. So it's a little hard to justify it that. But you use a squeegee blade on every car, or a squeegee handle on every car. So really good question, though. I like that one a lot. I'm going to forget about it and forget to make a video. But I'm excited about it now. That's why I like talking to you guys. What's the tape? Oh, what's the best tape for it? Okay, so you got a couple of options. These are the most common options. So you'll have a sheathing tape, house wrap tape. You can find it at hardware stores. Right now they run about $15. Or Seal Guard, that's my own tape. You can find this at 313tint.com. This is for $9. So that's why this stuff exists right now. Sheathing tape, house wrap tape, still a great option, works great. The reason why it's nice to use a tape is like on the Regal, we have a felt side seal here. So little felt bits like to flake off, especially when they get wet. So when you're trying to tuck it into the sides, if you tape over them, then it holds all that stuff out of your tint. Doesn't mean you're going to have a perfect tint job, but it is going to keep all that felt out of your work. Is masking tape okay? No, go get a sheathing tape instead. What happens with painter's tape or masking tape is they get wet, they soak in water, and they start falling off really quickly. If you get a good painter's tape, sometimes they last a little bit longer, but I didn't use tape for the longest time because I didn't know about sheathing tape. And then I was using it, and then inflation hit sheathing tape, and it went from like 10 bucks a roll to like 15. So sometimes you can find it cheaper than that. But this stuff is really good, and it's 9 bucks. Whoops, we lost it. It's going for a trip. Why didn't you sell a basic starter kit? I had one. I'm waiting on clay bars, and I'll put it back up there, but I don't know when they're going to be here. Yeah, it's a good idea, though. There should be a bundle. See, it's weird when you've been in tinting for a long time. You forget what it was like somewhat when you started. Even though I get lots of those questions. But yeah, little starter sets, bundles, stuff like that. There we go. So let's tape that. Ding, 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 ding. Will any clay bar from AutoZone work, or is yours specifically for tinting and glass? So they will. There's little differences from one clay bar to the next. Synthetic clay bars are largely very similar. The only thing you might notice is some of them are very soft, and if you hit a dry piece of the glass, they'll sometimes leave little clay residue behind. So just keep an eye out for that. But yeah, any synthetic clay bar should do the job okay. The glass-aid ones are harder, and that's been a really good thing because even on a warm piece of glass, it's not going to leave a clay spot behind, because last thing you want is whatever you're cleaning it with to make it worse. When are yours back in stock? I don't know yet. Oh my God. Oh, 200 for removal and retint in ceramic? No, that's fine. I charge 200 just to tint front doors in ceramic, so yeah, it's yeah, that's fine. As long as they do good work. Well, actually, it really depends. Usually, if it's just front doors, I start out at 150. If we're doing like a full vehicle, there's a little bit of a bundle price there. Okay, so on this one, we are doing ceramic. We're doing 20% on the front. We're doing we're doing 5 on the back, and then we're also doing a 5% windshield strip on this. So that's going to be this stuff up here. This should be my 20%, but we got to double check. Yes, cool. So I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing yet. So this is the Tint Rack. So we got little end caps there that stick out. So I can't just set this on the ground anymore. I have to go put it back or prop it up somewhere. Do you have those stacks so you know which percent they are? Yeah. Yeah, right now I do. There's room on the sides to put labels so you don't run into that problem either. Do you sell the tape on your site? Mm-hmm. Yep, the seal guard is on 313tint.com. Hey! Thank you. We're going to double cut this, so that's what we're getting it set up for. Danny! Danny with the 5! Sereno, that's almost my wife's last name. Love the videos. You are the reason I got into tinning. Keep it up, bro. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll have an easier time today. You know, I thought about that. So you could take the end caps and have a way to just set the tint rolls on the floor. The thing is, though, I'd always have to track down where I put them, or I'd have to leave them in a couple strategic spots. And I'm probably just not good at that. The tape looks like gorillas. It doesn't look like it here, but I guess on video, those things up there, I was so confused for a little bit. But I think I understand now. Robot gorillas. Price difference is crazy. I got the rear for $50. It depends. Depends on the film. Depends on who you go to. But yeah, 50 is really cheap. You're the reason I use Glass Aid. Thank you. Hey, man, I'm glad you like it. I appreciate that a lot. Is there a reason you're choosing to hand cut this versus plotter cut? Main reason is always I know what I'm getting out of a hand cut, especially for the front doors, or all the doors. Plotter's not going to save me a lot of time. On things that are harder to cut out, or more tedious to cut out, let's say a back window, quarter windows, truck rear windows, stuff like that makes more sense for me to plot. But it's a hotly debated thing. Man, most people used to say you're not a tinter if you used a plotter. So many things have like come full circle. Used to get made fun of for using a plotter, but it just depends on the work environment that I'm in. So if I'm in a higher production spot, shop, that's when I really focused on using a plotter. But there's good and bad. Sometimes they work great, sometimes they drive you crazy. Just spend time with your machine. You get used to it. Been using plotters for almost 20 years. Dang. Yes. Yes, you can definitely get too dependent on it. It gets used. Just not as much. Another reason why you'll generally see me hand cut everything, I like to do certain things that most people run into. So most people don't have a space with a plotter. They have more questions about hand cutting, and just things that you run into every day. So that's how it happens to be how I always used to tint, was mobile. I didn't have a nice, cool setup. I'd bring a roller plastic toolbox around. I tint in lots of random shops and stuff. So I didn't have a cool setup. I didn't have good lighting. I didn't have any of this. So what I could always rely on is the handful of things that I bring with and the car. So when people talk about like peel boards and stations and all that, it's like I could always rely on the car. The car is the peel board. The car is the workspace. The environment can change. Everything else around it can change. Does a plotter ever go on sale for, let's say, Black Friday? That would be a question for Plotter Depot. I don't know. I don't watch plotter prices very closely. I know there's a lot more options out there now than there used to be. Just make sure you're getting a halfway decent option. The thing about really, really like under $1,000 machines is you just don't know if they'll work for window tint, whether that be drivers, whether that be settings. They're precision machines, and those have come down a lot in price. But plotter needs to cut through the window tint portion and not this thin little liner portion. So as long as you can dial in your plotter for that, then it'll work. You don't really know until you get it all set up and stuff. You should have kept those patterns together and shrunk them on the door. Saves time. I'll do that with this one. You know, I don't know why I don't do that. I just so used to like double cutting together, separating them, and then shrinking them separately. I don't know why. Other than I think I had some weird film years ago when I tried that a handful of times. It made some popping sounds, and so I just like I always got used to independently shrinking. It just is what it is. But you're right.
Hey, do you mind if I grab something out of my glove box real quick?
Oh yeah, you're fine.
Sorry, but I didn't mean to.
Oh, you're all good. We're live streaming it on the channel. I don't know if you've seen it,
I
but
figured. I didn't want to. I didn't want to get on there and mess you up.
no, you're all good. I always feel more weird about putting people on the spot.
Hold on, let me see if I got it. All right, appreciate it, man.
No problem. I'll let you know as soon as it's done.
Thank you, sir.
So I'm going to keep reminding myself to not separate these patterns. Don't separate these patterns. Don't separate these patterns. And then watch, I'm going to get to the end and I'm going to separate them. What's been sold out all week? Ice Sharpie cut. Yeah, that's fine. I have a so I never had peel boards, so I've got years and years of tinting without being able to go over and trim things on a board. So I default to a lot of what comes naturally to me. What I missed about the whole Sharpie method, because nobody was doing that around here, was what's cool about the Sharpie is just it's very safe and it really is very quick. You just need a cut station to do it. But yeah, I thought it was really, really cool. I mean, shit, you could even cut the sides with scissors. It's really just the top edge that you got to cut on the car. All right, leave them together. So let's do that. Where did you get the glass that you're cutting the tint? That actually came with the shop. I think this used to be like a window company. So like there's a handful of windows back there. They're just storm windows. They're like little thick and very heavy. But they were free, so. We were all set in our ways. Yeah, I hear ya. Oh, the Tint Rack. They said they would be all week. Isn't it just Tuesday? Yeah, they had a handful of them available. I saw from one of the comments that they're supposed to get them back in stock on Tuesday. It's just very new. So there's going to be limited supply. Hearing like sold out all week made me feel like, oh, it's Friday. Yeah. And then it's like, wait, no, it's Tuesday. And it's still all week though. All right, so shrinking, especially on this. So this, we have two pieces of film together. We're gonna shrink it exactly the same way that we shrink one of them. What's the common roll sizes you carry in your shop? I do 36/24s. That covers most everything. I was like working on a longer video for the rack too. And then there was just that point where it was like, oh, this is a really good clip. So then I just posted the clip. And then, yeah, it like sold out. But it's one of those things that I think it just sells itself. It's a cool product. Oh man, I gotta bring my sprayer over. All right. So there's a few different ways to shrink a door window. We're gonna use snap shrinking because that's the method I like using the most. But this is a little awkward to get used to. So spray the window, take your film, put it on the glass. Give yourself a little gap on the long side and about an inch up from the bottom. That way you're just getting a lot of film on the glass, and then squeegee from the top, kind of like a rainbow, and force everything to go down to the bottom. So you should have these fingers here on the bottom that pop up. So grab your heat gun, turn that up, let it warm up a little bit. Then I'll grab the corner and I'll pull it. I'll pull it in this direction. And what that'll do is that'll pick it up off the glass some till you get about 2-3 inches away from the edge there. So you just have this section of film raised off the glass. So the very bottom, you're just gonna move the heat gun closer till you start heating it up, and then slowly move it across, and you'll get this whole curl along the bottom, and it'll tighten up. And then that's all you have to do. So when you see like this little like almost smile going on, you can check it. Check it by doing this. Spray it, sweep it back down. You can pick it up, do a little wet check. See that? So when we install that, that should lay down. What's the best workhorse plotter? Which size, 55 or 64? Honestly, the Workhorse 2 is a good machine. There's one feature I like about it over the Workhorse 1. That's where they put this little groove for slicing off the tint. Other than that, Workhorse 1, it doesn't look as nice, but it runs just nice. Workhorse 1, get the 50, I don't know, 52, 53, whatever the size, not the smallest size, but all you need is above 40. So for plotters, a 60, you're never really going to use. The vast majority of everything that you're cutting out is going to be 36 or 40. It's never going to be bigger than that unless you're doing like a Model 3. And then you need like a over 60-inch wide one. Yes, PPF would be the other reason. If you're cutting out other large format mediums, then you would need a larger machine. Just for window tint though, nope, don't need it. I'd avoid the, I don't know, they got like a 30-inch or something like that for doors. It's just not worth it. You need the wider space for back windows, because you'll be kicking yourself if you don't get it. How strong is Clearplex? It's pretty strong. Reason I have to pay $200 is I went to shop and paid $60. Yep, that's how it goes. Everybody wants to save money, but when you also go to a guy that doesn't charge very much, there's usually reasons why that's the case. It's not that he doesn't try, but be careful. Strong enough against BBs. Yeah, the Clearplex stuff, yeah, it's really durable. I have to check it on the Explorer still. I haven't looked at, like, we use the wipers a bunch. I haven't removed it yet. But it definitely saved our windshield from a pretty nasty chip. So that's good. He had really great reviews online, been tinting for 20 years. Oh, yeah, that's surprising. Maybe he was kidding. Maybe he's only been tinting for a year. That's the unfortunate bit about all contract work. I'm glad I can tint my own stuff, but there's other services like getting a deck built, getting stuff installed that you just like, I hope this goes okay. And we went cheaper on the guy that did our yard, and we're not the happiest with our yard, but we're happy with everything else that we spent more money on. We went with a cheap guy on our yard, and boy, I didn't know how you could cut corners on a yard. You can fucking cut some corners. That's 5? No, this is not 5. This is 20 on the front, and then we're doing 5 on the rear. No, that's fine. What's the price? I'd go to the website. I don't know. Go to Plotter Depot. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know prices have changed at some point, but I don't keep up with it that close. The Workhorse 1 was the cheaper option. At some point, the Workhorse 2 was like $2,000. And at this point, I'm just not sure. Sorry, I'm going to do this one more time. How much is Walmart selling Squeegees? Is a workhorse 2 a noisy machine? No. It's got the better motors in it. Same thing for the workhorse 1. They have, I think there are stepper motors and there's servo motors. Stepper motors sound like they are from like an old fax machine. Servo motors are very quiet, and that's what it's got. It's also got a 5-year warranty on parts, which is like big peace of mind. The only thing that you have to put together is the stand. If you want to put it on the stand, you can put it on a tabletop and cut it right onto a table. But you don't want it shipped with the stand already put together, because it would probably cost 3 times as much to ship. Trying to contact you about tint slip. It leaked out. Oh, Jesus, again? I fucking hate liquids. What, was it a gallon or was it a 16 ounce? If it's a gallon, I'm gonna lose my mind. Just gonna stop selling them altogether. Would you believe we actually go out our way to drop it off at like UPS? And I feel like they would do a better job. But we've had nothing but exploded gallons. It's a gallon? Motherfucker. Not you. It's UPS. What's the name or order number? We'll get another one shipped out. Did it ruin anything too? It's best to just send an email. Send an email to, like a reply email to your order, and then we'll get it. And that's how most things get taken care of. Dude, I like UPS. They've been nothing but good around here, but when you actually ship with them, you just hear problems. Same thing with all of them. Like some areas FedEx is good, some areas they're terrible. Everybody's terrible. Oh yeah, you know what? Shoot me an email because we can actually file damage claims and stuff like that. I forget about that. They're all the same. I know it. But yeah, do that. Send a reply email to your order. Add some pictures too, and we'll get it taken care of. And let me know if any of the tools or stuff is ruined because of it. Yeah, we got bubble wrap, we got saran wrap. Yeah, we don't just throw it in a box and let it bounce around. That's what is like crazy to me. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Woof. What do you think about tint marketing? I think it's probably necessary. I do a lot of it. I don't do as much local advertising, though. Is this live? No, it's definitely not. How does this look? Good? Yay. Good stuff. Anti-leak tape? All right, we'll look into it. Oh yeah, is this 2 still? I didn't know there was a leak tape, but we've been doing things to try and keep them from leaking. I think. But yeah. If both of you can send reply emails, because, I mean, letting me know right now is all well and good, but I actually don't know order numbers and names and stuff, and I'm not going to remember off the top of my head. I'm going to try and find it afterwards. Yeah, like, we do all that. It's not like we just throw it in a box. We actually put something, everybody's trying to, can we, they're not trying to be a dick. Can we move on from the leaky bottles? Because, like, this is like, let's get all our brain power and figure out how to fix this. It's all right. It's not going to be that hard to fix. We thought what we were doing was fixing the situation already, but apparently it's not. So we'll get it taken care of. Have you used Max Pro? Yeah, I used a couple of samples. But I didn't use it for any length of time. I got fans. There's people that like it. We'll solve your leaky problem. Let's worry about this car for now. Did you try Global? Not really. Very briefly. It was one of the few brands that we looked at when we were having... We looked into pricing and possibly bringing Global in at the time. I think they just didn't have a good upgrade path, which is why we didn't end up going with them. But this was years ago. Now they have, do they have a carbon? Or do they just have like they have Quick Dry Plus and a ceramic, but do they have a middle one? I don't remember. I don't think they did at the time. Global's got a good brand though. Solid film. Something I could definitely trust long term. HP? Oh, so they got metallized. Okay. NR is non-reflective. HP is high performance. For whatever reason, that always means metallized. NR is dyed and then ceramic. Is it a 200-foot roller carpet shield? Yes. Yes, and it's hella expensive now. What now? All right, flip this up, keep it flat. Dash slides right in. Same for this side. Push it flat against the window. Shift it back the other way. And then just balance it out. Line up that top edge. I haven't seen longer than 50 foot. Oh. Yeah, 50's short. I don't know. They had it where I am. But it's like $50 a roll now, which is outrageous for something just to cover up the door panels. Probably better using trash bags. Have you ever used Johnson films? No. No, Johnson's is one of those... Dude, I know nothing about that company. There's like a handful of companies like that I completely forget about. Like Matico was one of those companies for a little while there. I know a little bit more about them now. Wensco, I guess they also manufacture Wensco, but or they own Wensco. It's their Japanese brand. Is it the same company that does the baby shampoo brand? I've actually never known that. Oh, Winco. Yeah. What did I say? I forget. Did I say Wensco? Wensco is like a vinyl company around here. Thoughts on KDX? Haven't used it. I don't know. See, like there's way too many films, way too many brands for me to even remember, let alone know all the differences between them. Just like whenever somebody comes out with a new film, then somebody else comes out with a different film, somebody makes an improvement. The landscape is always changing slowly but surely. So a lot of my experimenting was with a handful of different films, or with quite a few films years ago now. I haven't used a lot of different stuff more recently. It's mostly been GeoShield, and a handful of others that I've seen in person, but that's about it. Solar Guard. Solar Guard, I tinted a handful of sets of doors at another shop a couple years ago now with Solar Guard. For whatever reason, Solar Guard films, I heard they moved manufacturing, but their films, most of their films except their Galaxy line is thin, and I never understood that about Solar Guard. Like, they just liked making thin window films, so everything felt like tissue paper. They hold up, they're good films, they just feel way different. They're like the outlier with that. I mean, I guess it makes sense if you can produce like the same type of qualities and then keep it thinner, because then, you know, like it weighs less. That's kind of good for business. You can have more in a box if you wanted to. I've been using Lexan and it's been all right. Sounds about right. Solar Guard had a green hue to it. Yeah, like the 3M color stable line that I used was very blue. I never understood that. Like it's super blue compared to, like if you, we'd have somebody come in for 2 front doors and then they would want the 3M color stable, which was like $200 for front doors at the time. It was just like, we just carried it for that person that would ask about 3M. And it's like, yeah, we got 3M. Okay, do that. And we did it. Same shade. Did not match at all. It was very blue. So if you're doing like a car all the way around like this, you don't have anything to match it to. It would be fine. But at the time, oof. That blue is made for Benz. No, it wasn't. See, it wasn't the Benz blue. There's like that reflective Mercedes blue. And Solar Guard was carrying a line that was, actually they called Benz blue. We stocked that one too for the handful of people that had to have that look on their Chrysler 300. It was always 300s. Do you have that Mercedes blue? What car do you have, a 300? Yes. Yes, we do. It matched the CLK? Mm-hmm. What's the tint you can see out of but not see in? Well, let's see. Can you see in? No? Can you see out? Yes. All of it. They're all like that. Do you know what I learned by making lots of TikTok videos? Is that most people look at all of this the same, like as if it's one layer. So if you see specks on the outside sitting on the glass and you're making a video, people think that it's just a dirty tint job. Or if you see it on the outside and it looks black, you think it's that dark on the inside. Or like a lot of people do. A lot of people that don't know anything about tint. I didn't realize that until I started making those videos. Having trouble with contamination no matter how much I clean. Believe it or not, it's not your cleaning. It's your installation. That's the other thing that's really hard to get across to people. So the thing is, ta-da, we're gonna let that prep. Yeah, so with contamination, it's always your installation. Very little is actually due to cleaning. The vast majority of it is your install. Oh no, I don't want to open that. It's annoying. It's too loud. Ding, ding, ding. So even tapes and stuff doesn't mean you'll have a clean tint job. It's just little things to help out. So with most things, there is some level of like if you're wiring something up, you can do it wrong and then undo it a lot of times and then change it, or when you're unbolting something, like you have time to like figure it out. With window tint, it's one shot go, and most of your mistakes are due to installation. You can take the keys out so you don't have to hear the ding ding. That's a true statement. Idiot left the key in there. We've gotten dirt from a bad. Oh, it's the one my light's on? Why is that? All right. So let's explain why you got a bad job and what you can do to fix it. So I do a lot of lighter cleaning. So a razor blade is just a quick way to go over. Make sure that if there was any like stickers or spacks or something that was stuck to the glass, they all got scraped off. I actually don't really like using a scrub pad because then it doesn't scrape a lot off. It just like loosens up some dirt. So if you didn't go over it with a blade, there can always be something stuck there. And you can't feel it with a scrub pad, but you could feel it with a blade. Make sure that top edge, see how much dirt we're pulling out of that top edge? It's not even laminated. A lot of dirt can rest up there on the top. So just go over that a handful of times. Wipe it until you don't see that anymore. Spray squeegee top to bottom. The reason being is gravity's a thing, water goes down. So you want your window to be dry now, because if you squeegee it all thoroughly, top to bottom, the only place that you should have dirt now is here and some here. So then you take this guy, don't use this flat long edge, use these thin beveled sides. Swipe down, swipe down. Spray it one more time, and go over it again. That's just to be extra thorough. Down, down. Spray the sides. Kind of like if you had any little bits, you kind of like wash them there and down. Same thing there. Lightly coat the rest of it. Now you're ready to install. That's clean. Any dirt that we get besides that, that's from our install. Don't have anything else to blame but ourselves. So we're gonna peel a corner. We're gonna pull this liner down till we get about halfway. Halfway between this, halfway between this. Spray that. Make sure there's nothing that can rinse into the tint from the top. See? See how we're like in this void here? Pick it up. And the goal here is not to fight with the film. So we're gonna start by putting up the long side. Just let that rest on the glass. You can leave this resting back, because all I need to worry about is tucking this into the side a little bit. Not even a lot, just a little bit. Tuck that into the side, bippity bop. Then we're gonna go back over to this side, lay that on the glass, take the tint, pull that up, squeak this back just a little more, and squeak that into the seal. So that's really like hard step one. Get the film onto the glass and tucked into the side seals. Sick. Center it. Get it close to the top. Tack it. All we're gonna do squeegee off that top. Now get that same green thing, and now we're gonna sweep up. You could sweep down if you wanted to, but you could also sweep up, that's fine. All we're doing is just squeegeeing the bubbles and getting it to lock into place. And it still might wiggle a little at this point. Then take your handled squeegee again, Just make sure everything's all tacked down. Do some like lighter presses, just make sure things are getting squeegeed out. And then as you're doing that, the film will shift around a little bit. So you're kind of putting some pressure, getting some stuff squeegeed out until it really starts to set. Once it starts to set, then you can make firmer passes and really make sure that sets, because then it's not going to slide around on you. You're like, this is where I need it to be, and if it moves from here, then we just need to wait a little bit and make sure it's all tacked down. So then we're going to roll this up, rinse the bottom, peel out the liner, just pull it straight down at an angle. Liner comes out. Wet the dry tint because we pulled the liner. Wet the tint. Then we're going to pull one corner back. Tuck that a little bit into the corner there. See how it starts like pushing on the seal. Do the same thing with the other side. Make this nice and flat. Pull my seal back. Come on, Shank. You can get in there. There we go. Pull that seal back. Tuck that over a little bit. Then we're going to peel this seal back again, and we're going to continue that down and just pick up the film a little bit as we go. Pull that seal back, and it all drops in. So where most people get hung up is you really are trying to tuck too much into the bottom, and you're trying to tuck too much into the sides. You don't have to push a lot of film into the bottom or into the sides. Most people make their patterns way too big, so then when you go to try and tuck all this film, you just have a lot of film that you're trying to tuck. Did I just say the same thing twice? I think I did. You know all those car window stickers, like the Sirius XM stickers, stuff like that sit there? Those aren't tucked below a seal and they don't peel off. So really, get below the seal, hide all your gaps, you'll be fine. So what was the point of the tape? Let's peel this off. It kept all these little felt fibers out of the side. So when I was tucking in the corner, sometimes water washes down and seeps into your film. So when you have felt seals and older seals, tape is a really nice thing to help with that. See all that? But other than that, it really comes down to your installation. So go back, try it again, watch the videos, compare what you're doing to the videos. Because honestly, there's a lot of little steps that I see people in person missing. It's like, this is what I do in the video, and then when I see them do it in person, it's like, no, you're not doing the same thing. You can't just generally do the same thing. Do the same thing. What's the best tape to use? I'm a big fan of this stuff. This is called Seal Guard. Hey, Jack, can you toss me a new roll? I keep opening them, and then there's no label on them. Thank you. That's this stuff, Seal Guard. It's really tacky. It's not expensive, and it keeps all that shit out of the sides. Do I need a degree to do this? No. No, the most that any company is going to have is some sort of training program. But like most people don't have anything even that sophisticated. If anything, they just want you to put up like a significant order in the beginning, or hit a certain minimum during the year, because they're actually not focused on training people, which is really dumb. They're focused on selling you film. Yes. Have you ever picked up a film roll and then it falls? Yes. Yikes. Hopefully you didn't like crunch it. Wet shrink versus dry shrink. If you go on my TikTok, I actually have a TikTok video that shows the exact difference one to the next. I don't know where so many people still pick up wet shrinking. Wet shrinking, like if you take a broad survey, only a handful of people really like wet shrinking. Most people like dry shrinking. So if you're not familiar with one or the other, I highly suggest doing what most people are doing, because why make it any more difficult? It's just people keep throwing different things at it when it's not working. Yeah, so I have classes, but what you get at the end of the class is an awesome tool set and a certificate saying you take the class. So it's like, it's a nice thing to have, but it's not going to get you anything anywhere. That's because like this is very much still a very independently owned industry. There isn't any like overlord corporations that have some sort of like control over everything. They try, but all you need is film and tools, and you can start a tint business. But with that, there'll be a lot of pain and struggle as far as learning goes. That's why people charge what they charge. There's no way anybody could charge. Like, what are we doing on this? It's $450. It's $510 because we're doing a windshield strip on this. There's absolutely no way that this would be that type of price if everybody could tint and it was super easy to do. Oh yeah, so when you're newer, don't feel dumb. It's not an easy thing. I've had plenty of frustrating days. I still have frustrating days. I still make mistakes. You just gotta push through them. You gotta get like somewhat angry and stern with film. You'll get it. Oh, with the carpet shield? Dude, carpet shield's too expensive now. Go to like doorsprotector.com. They have a good system. Other than that, like this is just a roll of like sticky plastic. It doesn't even stick that well to the door panels, but it went from like $30 a roll to like $50 a roll. It was always supposed to be a temporary thing, and then now I'd say it's not so feasible at that price. It doesn't make sense to just do that and then throw it away. I'll have something soon enough. I don't know exactly when it's going to be here, but like I said, soon enough. Sticking. There we go. What is that sound? I would love to know what that sound is. How much slip solution would you put in the handheld pump sprayers? Maybe about like a ½ ounce. Should be good at that. Try that first, then maybe do a full ounce. You got mail. Yeah, sounds like it. Ever tinted a Concorde? Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are goofy. I don't remember them that well. Anything with a goofy name. Anything with a goofy name like that you haven't seen in years. Yeah, it was not a fun car to tint. Like a Beretta. Fucking goofy ass car. Horrible back window. Caprice Classic. Fuck that car. I'll tell you what, those never got any easier for me either. Put too many creases in while wet shrinking. That's because you're not letting the film shrink. You're just throwing some heat at it and pushing it down. You gotta let it shrink. Anytime you have creases, you're just pushing the film down too fast. I think we could probably do the HSA on this one. I don't know. So we're like already through the doors. So that was nice. Let me see. Let me see if I have it sitting close by. But I'll set up the back. Oh, back window is set up for shrinking. Da, 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 da. All right, now we can turn off the key. Peel this off. Whew. Looking good. Can you show how to load the Workhorse 2? Because they don't line up super well with the 36? Yes, I can. Because you're right, they don't. That's where you get into all the quirks of these older machines. You're like half rollers on a 36-inch roll, unfortunately. That's just how it is. So you always want to like tap the roll down to make sure it's running straight, but yeah. Yeah, that's one of the quirks. All right, so we got to do the rear quarters and the back glass, and we also got to do a windshield strip. So I actually think I'm going to take the film off the back window. That should be able to be my windshield strip. And then I'll cut out something else for the rear quarters. Oh yeah, we put it back on the film rack. No rolls sitting on the ground now. Right, that's what this is. 5. Okay. How about a 92 Honda Accord Coupe? You like those cars? No. Accords have really, oh God, I threw away that windshield strip too the other day. What an idiot. Let me cut this a little wider. Maybe it'll be long enough. The Accords have a really, like anything pre-2000s starts getting kind of weird. You get like weirdo, tall dot matrix areas. You got, especially on the coupes, you got an annoyingly long back window. Yeah, not fun. Not terrible, but not super fun. Dry shrinking has been working better for me, moving back and forth with the heat. How you do? That's why I do it. What's his YouTube? Tint Studio on YouTube. TikTok, I love all you. My computer does not read your comments back to me, just YouTube's and Facebook's and all that, because TikTok runs on a separate streaming software. So I hear everybody else's comments, and I have to go out of my way to read yours. So I'm sorry. I try and look at them here and there, but sometimes I don't. All right, what do you think? Do you think we can make this work? What do you think? I think it'll come pretty close. Should be okay. My squeegee. Where do you get your blades? What blades are you using? I mean, I sell them on my supply store. They're all NT. NT's been my favorite. I find sun strips annoying. I do too, and I don't know why, but I do. Like, they're easy, right? Maybe it's just the tediousness of like lining them up and then going back and forth, and like, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna see where this bottom lines up, because we're gonna split it in half most likely, so we should have enough. I think we're just gonna blend it in with this. Oh yeah, that'll be perfect. We're gonna go right along this line, straight across. So a lot of windshield strips are actually a little bit easier because of that. So essentially what you're gonna do is you're gonna split it right in the middle, because you got this big old border that's all mirror housing and stuff. We're gonna split that. And we're gonna drag this over, and then all our guests are gonna be covered. Hooray! It's pretty sweet. Look, it's wider now. Heck yeah. All right, back to this. What is all this? There's like some weirdo overspray on this back window. See, this is why I like a felt card. This is why I like a felt card. See all those little bumps? That's why I like a felt card over a hard card. Because I scrubbed it, I cleaned it off, and we still have all those bumps. So there's just something, yeah, you can feel them. There's something stuck to it. You'd have to scrape the whole back window. Or you can use a felt card and just go straight over that, and you're not actually hurting anything. Maybe it's weld splatter. Who knows? But if it was a hard card, that would be wrecked right now. I used to have the cars, or the customers sit in the car, move the tint to the position that suits them. Yeah, I still do that. On this one, it's actually really straightforward. You just ask for a strip, and I think the best spot is going to be lining it up at the bottom. So that's where we're going to put it. All right, so we're shrinking. This is a $30 heat gun that you can buy at any hardware store. There's nothing special here, and you can do this with any film. If you're going to use the dryer sheet, make sure you use Snuggles. Mixed results with different options. Right now we're using dry shrink prep. So what we're going to do is then take the heat gun, and we're just going to make close passes and just go close, pick it back up, go close, pick it back up, and we're going to go straight through the whole window. Watch. So you're going to go straight across. You're going to keep the heat about an inch away from the film. And you don't really have to pay attention to very much. And we're not even shrinking it all the way yet. We're just warming it up, getting some of it to shrink enough. And then there's some areas that don't look very, like this can be shrunk more, but just wait, we're getting there. So once you do that, you'll notice the film is significantly lower to the glass. So to ensure that no points are sticking, pull. See how it kind of like shoots some air underneath, loosen it up. That's all you're doing is loosening it up. Then take your felt card, start smoothing that down. And you're just gonna keep going until you get close to the where film all of a sudden doesn't want to lay down anymore. Look, see that? It doesn't want to lay down there. So then, pull back up the film a little bit. And then we're going to go over it with the heat once again. We're so far through this already. More than I thought we were going to be. So we went through it. We're going to go and pull it. Felt card it. If you have a big swoop here, actually just leave that alone. Because honestly, like, watch, it'll catch up to the other side. A lot of people, they feel like they have to do something with this swoop. The only reason you have this here is because your back window goes up and back down. So this is the midpoint. There's just pulling some tension. And then as soon as we shrink this swoop will lay flat into all of that. So I'm gonna grab the heat gun on the other side, and we're gonna go to the other side of the car. Easy peasy. Let the heat gun get hot. So this takes all the guesswork out of what you have to do. Make a pass, pull it back up, make a close pass, about an inch farther down from where you were, and you just keep going, like a couple inches at a time. So I'm doing this with like a really nice shrinking film. I'm gonna put what I would consider a not as nice shrinking film. And you can do the exact same thing. The only adjustment that you're ever gonna have to make is if you have a film that doesn't shrink as fast, then you're just gonna have to move slower. Keep the heat gun still, about an inch away from the glass, because this is how heat works. I can run my hand past this really quickly, and I'm fine. If I do it slower, ow, it starts getting warm. If I do it too slow, I'm gonna burn myself. So all you're doing is figuring out what causes your film to shrink some, and then eventually you're gonna get the whole thing shrunk. Look, see that big swoop? This big swoop's gone. Where is that big swoop? I don't know. It's gone. Sweep all this out. Any spots that are still popping up, you're gonna go back over with the heat gun still. I have the Wagner heat gun with adjustable temperature up to 1350, 1250 with low increments, 250 being the lowest. So what you want to do is you want to take that gun and you want to crank that all the way up and ignore all the other settings because they don't matter. All the heat guns, put them up as high as they can get. Here's where you can run into some differences with using different films, different stuff in between the film and the glass. Like we're using dry shrink prep, and like I said, I like using Snuggles dryer sheets as well. When you guys start grabbing different shit, you might have different results. Like, oh, I bought a dryer sheet, it should do the, no. Some are good, some are not good. Dry shrink prep was made for window tinting. Snuggles is something that's made for clothes. That happens to work really well with window tinting. So some dryer sheets will work okay, and some won't, and I'm not gonna figure out all the different ones that work well with it because they're always changing. All right, heat gun, it's on high. Now we're talking about the top here. You'll notice this is laying flat against the glass, and we're just gonna do the exact same thing. Brrr. So I also figured out why I'll pull away the heat gun and start back over here. One reason is so you just keep consistent hand motions through the entire thing. The other reason is even after you pick up the heat, the film is still shrinking a little bit and settling in. So when you start here, end here, you're giving everything time to settle when you make your next pass. Pull on the film, start carting it down. Oh look, we're getting that swoop again. That's fine, ignore that swoop. And then we got these. What are these? Oh my God. I put heat on them. They didn't shrink. Put the heat closer, more heat. Good, we're done. Except for the other side. Any benefits to wearing nitrite gloves? No, not that I've ever seen. Some people like to tint with gloves. I hate it. My hands will feel all clammy, and I can't really feel the film. But some people like it. So look, I'm not even gonna put as much heat on this right now. We're gonna keep it 2 inches away and just show you like, oh, if I didn't shrink it enough, what's gonna happen? Pull. And you start to card this down until, oh no, I'm getting big fingers. So then stop. Stop at the big fingers. Pull some air back into your film. And then we're gonna go over those. Where do you get dry shrink prep? You can find it at sundistributingdirect.com. There you go. It's more shrunk now. Pull it back. We got just a little bit left. That should be it. What we're doing is shrinking up to the line. Anything past that is unnecessary. Cool. I got both my lights charged. I'm so proud of myself. Are those cloth gloves better than the felt cards? I don't think so, but it's two different ways of shrinking. Like you can use stiff hard cards, you can use felt cards, you can use a like hard card with a felt strip on the edge, or you can use a glove. All that's doing is organizing your film. The reason why I like using a card over a glove is because when I'm trying to smooth out the film, I just can't put as much pressure evenly to get it to like sweep out nice and even. Like there's always spots and stuff that are not quite pressed down. Where a card, I just use it like a, it's just much smoother at sweeping everything out. Ding dong. One day I'll figure out what that is. Right now I have no idea what that is. But it's just when I'm streaming. There's got to be something with like TikTok. Is it better to shrink prior to cutting? Yes. Reason being is because when you have extra film at the edges, gives you a little bit of room for mistakes, gives you extra material to pull on if you need to. But really just at the top and the bottom. The sides, we don't really, like, you're not shrinking anything out the sides. So just to keep things efficient, I only have like a little inch border here. Because I did like a quick rough cut. You don't have to exact cut the sides yet. But that's what you're doing. Oh, I can't even see it. There it is. 5, man. 5 is dark. Does the class get to keep the kegs? Yes, 100%. They're all like, they're actually custom for the class in like the Tint Studio colors and stuff. They're cool, man. Yeah, I actually like built a whole class around being able to provide as much of a full tool set as I could. So that's one reason the price is where it's at. Can you reverse roll a back windshield? Yes. Yes, you can. I learned reverse rolling way later. So I only ever knew how to Frankenstein stuff. There's still reasons why I think that works. Like, it works better for me. But reverse rolling is a little bit more methodical. Okay, one last thing. After you cut the film, you're cutting areas where you shrunk the film. So sweep the film back down and just check. Like sometimes it'll look like it's laid flat. Then you get a heat gun real close to it and just keep it moving. And sometimes you'll see it shrinking a little bit more on the edge. That way you're not going to have any small fingers popping up on the bottom, especially. You might have something small that pops up, but it should be really easy to take care of. Like, see this stuff right here? Just a little bit of heat, flatten those out. The last thing you want is a small finger to pop up under like a third brake light. You're not going to be able to get that down very easily. And then that's it. So it looks flat on the outside. That means it's going to install flat on the inside. What kind of light is that? This is okay, I'm saying $30. I don't know if it's actually still $30, but I found this from Harbor Freight. This is the Braun light. This is really bright. It's really thin. They're awesome rechargeable lights. Don't get the Craftsman one. I'll explain why really quick. This looks the same. I was so mad. I bought this. I was like, oh, cool, Craftsman has the same light. No. So this one has a rechargeable battery in it. This one has 3 AAAs in it. It's actually not even the exact same size. So this one was great for a minute until I ran out of battery power, and I'm not buying AAAs for it. This one will recharge. But yeah, thin LED lights are great. I learned that Frankenstein with someone next to me blowing air at me on purpose. The longer you keep... Yes, 100%. If you have somebody working next to you that is using air guns, your tint will turn out worse. But yeah, it's only... You can have people working on cars and stuff around you. It's just when you go to peel your tint, make sure that the air is somewhat calm. You don't need a super clean looking space at all. Just make sure like the wind is down. So like if you have a garage door and you can feel a little breeze coming in, close the garage door. If you have ceiling fans, turn them off. Other than that, you can tint pretty much anywhere. Just, if you have better lighting, makes it easier to see. All right. Let me grab a towel here. What's the best thing to scrub the window? There's a few things that you can use. Scrub pads are nice. I've got mixed here. I got mixed feelings about scrub pads. Like they're. Wow. That is why? I don't think I've ever run into that. There's like something actually keeping, like it's wiggling, like it's unlocked, but it's not actually opening. Huh. All right. That's annoying. I guess we'll leave that headrest in. Okay, so with cleaning a back window, this is how I used to clean them. And honestly, this is mostly pretty much fine. There's probably a body back there. I don't want to look at it. I used to take my hand. I used to swipe it over the back window. And if I didn't feel anything, it's fine. For the most part, it's fine. You can go more above and beyond. I have these tri-edge scrub pads. Any glass-safe scrub pad, so like the white 3M ones, those are good. These ones are a little bit more aggressive in a good way, but they're not going to scratch the glass, which is really nice. The only thing I don't like about scrub pads is you can never really feel if you're going over a sticky bit that's not going to just be removed with some light scrubbing. The other thing, too, is a clay bar. There's some sort of like black residue on the defroster lines, so this can help clean your defrosters pretty well. So, let me see. Are we going to get anything off of here? Not really. So, clay bar also is not going to scrape a back window. But there isn't really very much to clean off of the back window except whatever this black residue is. But scrub pads, those will kind of do a similar thing. They just won't remove the residue. But you can scrub that. There really isn't a lot that you have to do. You're always going to keep an eye out for stickers, stuff that might come off, but most people aren't touching the insides of their back windows. So even on older cars, you have like a light layer of scuzz, and that's basically it. They're just big old quarter windows that nobody touches. All right. Well, that's annoying because I like to use that hand to do everything. Couldn't be the other headrest. That's fine. We'll go this way. Oh, I forgot my side swipe. I need a little farther squeegee, so we're gonna grab this guy. Side swipe. And then we can side swipe. Just that little bit right there. Perfect. All right, it's ready to install. Are you by yourself? Yes. He doesn't exist. It's just a ghost. Spray your film down. So we're going to do what is called the Frankenstein. I didn't name it, but that's what people call it. So we're going to pick it up off the glass. I'm going to pull it with my left hand from the center. And then I'm going to reach, and I'm going to kind of pick it up, and then drop it, and then kind of catch it, and then see how that folds nice in the center? And we can carry it in. And the trick here is everything is lava, so you just don't touch anything, and you're fine. See, we can get straight over the headrest, no problem. Just get it as low on the glass as you can to get it started. Start pushing some film and just stop short of the headliner. Then push that film down. Put some more film up on the glass. So I'll do reverse rolls all day on front windshields, but back windshields just aren't as wide. So it's much easier to do this on a back window than it is a front windshield. So I learned how to do things this way. There's just less steps involved. You just gotta get comfortable with handling the film. But when you're teaching people, they understand a reverse roll way quicker because it's a lot more controlled. On a back window like this, it's not so bad because you don't have a brake light in the way. I have plenty of space to work with. It's on a fairly flat back window. There's a lot of reasons why reverse rolling this would be not super difficult. But the more obstacles you put in the way, the harder it's going to be to do a reverse roll, which is why I still like doing this, because this is basically all set up. It's like, I would say Frankensteining is the bottom loading of the back window world. Two staging is the reverse roll. Squeegee the back window out, then we're going to spray it, go over it one more time, making firmer passes, just making sure we go straight along those defrosters, getting as much air out as we can. Nice. And one more swipe, and we should be good. So we'll check it over. Can you recommend a roll of tint that's cheap to practice with? Yes, this stuff right here. T-View, Amazon, $90. Go for it. It's actually a really, really good practice film. It's similar enough to just regular films, and you shouldn't feel so bad about tossing that in the garbage. So 36 by 100-foot long roll. And if you're doing doors, get the shorter rolls. You can do short rolls on the doors. You can do longer rolls on the back window. Save some money. Have at it. Give this a quick scrub down. And we'll check it. Check it for dirt. Yeah, see, first thing I did was I took a scrub pad over the back window. I had it prepped. And I didn't feel any of this grit because I was using scrub pads. Scrub pads do not scrape windows. They loosen up dirt, but they're not going to remove everything. So the best way to kind of see that is if you take a blade and literally scrape it. You'll be able to feel those specks as you're taking them off. But that's only on the outside. That was for like the shrinking part. Like I said, it didn't matter. As long as you're not using a hard card, you're not doing anything to hurt the film. Nice and clean. Yeah, buddy. Looks good. I like it. All right, so now we got to do these quarter windows. And then we'll do a windshield strip. And then we'll be done. Oh, cut, damn you. Okay. We're going to leave this rolled up. We're going to cut out 2 patterns on one side. Pretty nervous about tinting my windshield. Tinting a windshield is going to be the biggest, most difficult piece of glass, unless you have like a Wrangler. There's just a lot to learn. How much is Pro Classic? If you go to 313tint.com, you can find out. But I think it's in the neighborhood of like a 36-inch roll is like $225. I think. You can do 8 cars with that. Amazon has their own version of the red dot. They have a 9mm snap-off knife. I'll have to see. That's interesting. Amazon started carrying like stainless steel blades. They're not as good. See, I bought them. I haven't really used these. I'm scared to use these on glass. You can see it's like leaking oil out of the sides. They're actually decent, but if you run your finger across these ones are just like so much sharper. The Amazon ones are decent. They're just a little dull, and that means they're going to scratch. Anything that's a little dull is going to scratch. I successfully did a sun strip, which is not hard, but going to tackle the full windshield. Whoa, that's a big step up. Nice job, though. What light do you use to see your glass aid when cutting? I use this guy. This is a light I got from Harbor Freight. I haven't been in Harbor Freight to look at the lights in probably about 2 or 3 years. So I'm sure they might have something better or similar. But I've always liked the slim stick lights. Whenever a newer one came out, I used to spend like $80 to like $150 on these things because like LEDs were pretty new. Now you can find them for really cheap on Amazon, and so you might be able to find, you can probably find that same light on Amazon too. Oh, I forgot the other one. I'll just use this as a template. That should be okay, right? As long as we do it. Which side is which? That's a liner. This is liner. Have you used Tint Depot's high performance stuff? Yeah, Tint Depot is, they have nice films. They have backwards. They have backwards branding. Like, Tint Depot is genuinely good films. Tint Depot was their way of selling good films retail. So they're part of a bigger company that is a full-fledged, like, good brand window film distributor. But they have territories and restrictions on being that distributor. So they're essentially private labeling that under the Tint Depot brand. But now they've got their high-tech brand, which is now adding some type of professionalism to that same idea. Because the brand that they're selling fell asleep at the wheel with marketing, and a lot of people are using other more attractive brands now, because it's not just about having a good film. It's about having a whole appearance. Just like a lot of products, there's actually limited manufacturers for most industries. That goes with window film, that goes with PC parts. You know, like Samsung is a big manufacturer of memory. Intel makes CPUs, AMD makes CPUs, and then there's a couple manufacturers like TSMC that makes like the cell phone CPUs and stuff. So like there's usually only a handful of manufacturers that are dominant in any type of industry. Same thing for window film. There's really only like a handful of window film manufacturers, but there's a ton of brands. So it's not that you're getting identical stuff. You can tweak little parts of the recipe, so you can tweak the coloring, You can use different grade polyesters and stuff. But you can't tweak the entire process. So there'll be a lot of similarities from one film brand to the next. But you still can go to other countries and get varying qualities across the board. You cut the center of the glass A when you're cutting? Mm-hmm, yep. Most of the time. Isn't that the most adorable squeegee? Dude, you are not kidding. This is the most adorable squeegee blade you've ever seen. And it's fantastic. Oh, I emptied my pouch. So every once in a while, you run into those situations where you need a card or tool or something that does the better job than other stuff. And that's this guy right here. So this is going to open up this annoying seal a little easier than the tri-edge. Then I can sneak that film in there. Hopefully I don't. Do I have to go farther? I might have to go farther. Cool. I think we got it. And then we'll get back to the cute squeegee. Yeah, this thing, oh my God. I thought this was so silly and pointless or a joke, but it's not. So it's called the Quarter Pro. And for most of this, you'd be fine with the turbo. But when you get in these small areas and tighter, you know, there's a lot of paneling here. So you can like angle this in certain ways and squeegee that completely dry. So as silly as this thing is, this is like a must-have in my tool belt now. I use this all the time. Sun Distributing has these too. What should I do when I get some specs in my tint? What are some tips on getting none? It's kind of a broad question. Try and try again. Yeah, this red one, this one's the XL. The other one, I don't know where it is. It's sitting around here. They're both really good. This one's the harder one. I'll probably be picking those up sooner or later. Sun Distributing has them, though. Oh, dang. I suck. See this? What are all these dirt specks here? Oh, my God. Or what are all these air pockets? See all that? Ew, that's gross. That's shit. That's what that is. That came out of the side seal when I was trying to tuck that in. How do I get rid of that? I start over. It's useless. What a hack. I want to trim this a little bit closer too. Ooh, what side are we? And that'll happen. Like, there's very little. What am I saying? I mean, you can always try and squeegee everything perfectly clean. That was honestly, I should have flushed out that edge a little bit more, but it was just, I fussed with that side a little too much. And then we got lots of dirt. Do you always get specks in the same spot? No. No, they'll come in different spots. But the more you fuss with a window trying to get it in place, the more problems you're going to have. I think that confuses people, though, a little bit. Because with most things, it's just a matter of, like, oh, this doesn't quite fit, so then you, like, force it. Or you can take a step back and rearrange things. With window tint, it's like, hey, if I clean it, that means it's clean. Yes and no. You can clean it, and it'll be clean, and then you can install it, and it'll still have dirt because there's something that just got in your film. That's the annoying part. It's the annoying part about tinting. So what I would do on this differently flush that a little bit. I mean, that's sometimes why you see people use extra water too, is just they're trying to rinse things out in tight spots that you just can't reach. And we'll take that little guy, we're gonna squeegee that whole thing. We'll try this again. This isn't really even a really annoying quarter window, but it's got that rubber edge on the side. So I think my pattern was a little wide, maybe just a hair wide. So, there. See? I cut it a little bit slimmer, and that went faster, and I didn't fuss with that edge very much. But I don't know if you can see that, see this dark? There's like all types of little shit coming off of that. So it can be really fine. Really, really small pieces of crap. But if you have a small bunched up area, then it's like, oh, what's all this? It's like that was all that fine schmutz or whatever. But those differences there. Like, I cleaned it, and it still turned out dirty. Now, oh, much better. Good. I think it's impossible to always put out bad work. I think if you're trying, eventually you're going to get it. There's going to be some pain and struggle along the way, but I think statistically, if you throw enough pieces at a window, eventually it's going to get clean. So quarter windows especially, they can just be frustrating. It just depends on how they're set up. Nice. Where can I get this one? This is called the Quarter Pro. There it is. You can find it at, look at my hand shaking. You can get it at sundistributingdirect.com. I hate the newer Honda Pilot quarters. Yeah, same here. They're not fun. They actually, I heard they got rid of them on the latest Honda Pilot. So they're not going to be a thing for much longer. All right, let's see. Where would we go wrong? I'm going to grab the light. I want to make sure that this one, we're not going to have the same issue. So quarter windows, the more exact, like you need a little border, but the more exact that you can make that, the easier time you're gonna get installing them. So if I look at this one, I have a little wobbly over the top edge. I need to round this out a little bit more. So we will straighten this out just a little bit more. Yeah, especially on this back corner right here. There we go. That should do it. Yep, plenty of clearance. It's just on this back edge that things start getting a little tighter. Most of tinting is just cleaning and try again. Clean, try again. Clean, try again. Yeah, see all that? So that's on just the side. This is not a brand new car. There'll be lots of dirt that worked its way underneath the seal over time, and there's no way anybody has ever begun to try and pull up a seal to clean out underneath. One last thing that I don't do on quarter windows is I don't soak the top unless I'm gonna go clean it, then I'll kind of spritz it. Other than that, like, so I'll have those initial flushes, but when I'm getting it ready for install, don't ever spray a bunch of water in this top area. Because what's gonna happen is water's gonna constantly flush out the edges. And there will be infinite amounts of dirt that will keep falling out. You will never have it perfectly clean. So let's see. This one. Yep, you just gotta sneak it into this edge a little bit. So pull back this rubber a little bit. Try not to fuss with it. Good. Almost there. Yeah, these little quarter windows, 100%. They're always very dirty, especially when you get a car with some age on it, because they're just annoying to clean. Like, the most anybody's gonna do is they're gonna take a towel, they're gonna spray some glass cleaner, and they're gonna wipe some of it, but they're gonna largely miss the edges, and they're definitely not gonna lift them. So a detailer would probably take an air gun. Air gun would also be a good tool. So if you spray like a cleaner or a little soapy water or something and take an air gun, that'd be a good tool to clean out all those edges and stuff too. I should probably put that on my list. I have like a small air compressor. I just never needed like a big air compressor or anything. So my way of flushing things out always like cleans the windows and stuff. But you do that with air and a little bit of cleaner. I should probably think about that. I need that mini tool. Dude, it's awesome. This guy is squeegee on a stick. It's awesome. How many cars can you tint in one day? It's a good question now. Because I kind of spoil myself now. So like max that I'd probably schedule for myself is like 3 in a day. Used to be more than that. I used to be hustling. I don't hustle as much anymore. I have owner syndrome. Thanks for the videos. Managed to tint my Sienna van. It only took 6 tries. Hey, you got it. Now you know way more about shrinking. So whatever you do next is going to be way easier. Nice job. Squeegee. Where's my big old squeegee? It's up here. Ew, maybe he parks under a tree. There's definitely like lots of specks on the outside of this window. How often do you leave tools in cars? Not as much as I used to. When I was rushing around, I would constantly miss little things. Especially when you pull cars in and out, then you have your knife slip out of your tool belt, and then you only have one left, and then it goes bye-bye, and the rest of your day, you're like, uh-oh, how do I tint without a knife? That's the worst. I always made it a habit to, like, you know, when you're like leaving your house, you do like the triple pat. You have like your phone, keys, wallet. I do that with like my headphones too. Phone, keys, wallet, headphones. So I always tried to develop that habit with tinting. So I'd always double check my tool belt every time I left a car, unless I was like really rushing, and then that's when I forget something. I started tinting a while back for fun. Now I make more money on the side than my actual job. That's awesome, man. See, that's what gets really interesting too, because you're at that point, like if you're making more money tinting than at your actual job, that means you can quit your actual job and scale tinting, and then you're going to make far more money than you ever would at your job. I think the best position that you can be at is figure out how to make it easier to fail. So rather than like super planning and, oh, I got to go get a shop and I got to do this and I got to do that, figure out the cheapest way or the most sustainable way. Not necessarily just the cheapest, but what I mean by that is like, if you can tint from like a home garage rather than a shop, start with that. Because then you're already paying rent, so what are you losing? So like I was in an apartment, and then I moved to a house that had a garage, and I started tinting out of it. And 4 months in, they're like, the city was like, no can do, bud. And I'm like, ah, shit, I'm only 4 months in. So then I found a shop, but I had a 4-month runway, and I still had mobile accounts that I was tinting for. So it's a great way to get going. Just make that failure hurt as little as you can. So then it's like you're way more likely to take some of those risks. And it's not really like even a big risk at that point. You're just like, well, I'm already at home. I got some time. Might as well schedule a car and see how that goes. And then kind of fail into it. That's how a lot of people started their tinting business. They didn't just start with like, I'm going to map out this whole business plan. They were just a dude that tinted their own car. And then they showed their friends. And their friends were like, oh, that's awesome. Can you do my car? And then they, you know, next thing you know, they actually have a business and they don't really realize it. Then they get into a shop because they have that demand. So when you're tinting from home, ooh, there we go. It's going to be easier for some people than others anyways. Who would you contact at the city's town? Well, just call your city and ask. I don't know who you have to talk to, but say, hey, I'm interested in starting a business. Here's what you're probably going to hear. It depends on where you live, though. There's a lot of zoning laws. So, like, I just didn't look into that. I just figured I was in a city that nobody would really care. And then the way I was doing it, I was live streaming it. So somebody called the city, and then I had to, oh, there's my tape measure. I'm just going to double check with this. Like, wait, what's going to happen is they're going to just give you a notice. They're going to say, hey, don't do this. That's if anybody finds out and you're not supposed to be doing it. Like, was that bad? No. I'm sitting in my home garage listening to you, and it's literally how I started. That's awesome. Man, I love tinting from a home garage. It was great. You just walk out into the garage. Like, it's so convenient. So I did not want a shop. I didn't want a big place. I didn't want overhead. And I had very, very limited choices. So this was like not, I was not like, ooh, big, pretty garage. I'm going to get that one. I was like, shit. I hope this works out. And that's where I signed a 2-year lease. And then 2 years go by. And then it's time for my lease renewal, and the market just jumped up a ton. And then my rent went from $2,400 to $3,400, which still is not bad, but it hurts. What was that? Doing an auto glass and auto tint. Don't pay that much. Doing both, I quit my job too. I was only making 25. Now I'm making 35. So it depends on how you have auto tint set up. If you're working for a shop, you're never going to make as much money as independently. That goes really with like any company. Whenever you're working for a company, you're never making as much as on your own. Unless they're just there's some edge cases that will pay their employees very, very well because they actually recognize how important they are, and they charge like a lot to tint cars. There's a lot of places that are not set up like that, though. But it's definitely not as easy as just, I know how to tint, and now I'm going to make a bunch of money. But that being said, there's usually people that, most people are in a situation where they're not making very much money. And then even the idea of tinting one car in a day is all of a sudden like, whoa, I can make over $200-300 just in a day from tinting a car. Yes, yes you can. Do you have to shrink the strip? No, no you don't. You definitely can. And if they're like really big windshield strips, then yeah, there's like, we have to shrink full windshield tints. So you're gonna want to then shrink the strip if you make it super big, but depends on the window. Usually you can just press things out on the inside. So even if there's something small to shrink, it's not a big deal. But yeah, like $30 an hour. Like I do a set of doors. I get that done in like half hour, 45 minutes, and I charge $120 starting for front doors. But you also have to average that out over the course of your day. So I don't have a set of doors every hour. Can you overdo the shrinkage? Yeah, you can definitely overdo it. It's going to be pretty obvious when you overdo it, though. Like, it's not going to lay flat on the window at all. What are we, like 7.5? That's where we're cutting this to? Yeah. Right? 7 or 6? Yeah, 7.5. Yes, people want chameleon tint. It's all getting made out of China, though, as far as I know. It's not really stuff that I would recommend or guarantee unless somebody can actually give me a good manufacturer. What's the center measure? Whatever that bottom of the thing is. Are you cutting on the glass? No, I'm cutting on the tape, and it's a thick tape. So you just don't want to press too hard, or you will cut through the whole thing. But you're also using a stainless blade, so if you gouge it all the way through, it's just going to be really, really light on the glass, and everything should be fine. A lot of guys still cut. I do from time to time, a little bit. Blades on glass, so that's why you use a really sharp stainless steel blade, so then you don't put any scores and stuff in the glass. But you can always have a bad day. Yeah, probably one of my best mobile situations was tinting for a company in the area called Symbol. I tinted for them on Tuesdays and Fridays, just because they generally couldn't book any more work throughout the week, so they would funnel a lot of work to Tuesdays and Fridays. And some months they would definitely have more than I could handle. But why I'm bringing that up is I was making, what, 1,500 to nearly $2,000 a week handling the tint for them. So, yeah, you can definitely do pretty well tinting for other businesses and stuff like that. Good times. So, I was tinting for them on Tuesdays and Fridays while I was getting this place going, because they were just a mobile account. So I still had this place open, but the door was locked, so if anybody wanted an appointment, they just call the phone number and then they schedule them an appointment, just like I did anybody else. What type of auto shops? You never know exactly which ones are going to be winners and losers, but nicer areas definitely help. I always thought glass shops, glass replacement shop, actually you get a lot of people wanting front doors, and front doors is a really quick and easy thing to add to most vehicles. Actually, if you only tinted front doors, you would make more money just doing front doors because they're faster. You make more really per window when you're just doing front doors. So if I'm charging, what, $300, and then after you split it and stuff, how long does it take you? I'd shoot for generally a couple hours. So it'd roughly be, like if you're just new with no split, it'd be 150 inside of an hour. We would schedule front doors for an hour, but front doors, when you're efficient, you can get done inside of an hour. Like you can actually do it like inside like 20 minutes to a half hour. So generally we would do like 2 sets of doors inside of an hour. And if they lined up nothing but front doors, man, that was a great day. But not everybody's going to be just front doors. People are going to come in with cars and want the whole car. People are going to come in with front windshields. So you got to be able to do other stuff. Actually, you don't have to. You could just say, we only do front doors. But it's nice to be able to do more than just front doors. I creased the Escalade windshield when I was dry shrinking it with dryer sheets. I don't know what I did wrong. Well, you creased the film, so you know what you did wrong. What happened was you bunched up too much film. So anytime you crease the film, you just like crush the film together. So you need to shrink it more. So like you can shrink it, but not shrink it enough. Ding dong. I don't know what that is. What is that? I'd love to know. Maybe that's roses? Is that what that is? Lenny sent 5 roses, thank you. Windshields are not hard to tint. You need to find it. Windshields definitely are challenging to tint. I mean, everybody's coming from a different place. Windshields aren't hard, then nothing is hard. Like, it just depends on how long you've been doing it. Who's the other guy? That's Jack. Jack helps with all the orders. So when I'm sitting here babbling and somebody puts an order in, it actually ships. Rather than waiting for me to get off stream. Jack, Danny says thank you for shipping out his stuff so quickly. He appreciates it. He says you're welcome. What plotter do you use? This one is the Workhorse too. It's a good machine. We're gonna make sure this is all touched up. Get that Lexan box. Oh yeah, that's a HSA. Thanks for reminding me. I'd have to prep this back window again, but I could definitely show shrinking it. I'm getting creases on the sides. What can I do to fix this? So when you're two-staging, like, I guarantee you there are just, like, people that are mashing the film really hard. But the idea with, you lightly fold it, and you just don't press very hard at that fold. So, like, I guess this is a good example. This might scare some people. Like, it's been sitting, so there's a chance that if I go to press this out right now, it'll completely disappear. So let me press this out. Oh, yeah, it's basically gone because it's been drying this whole time. So not a great example. So the biggest thing is just like, don't worry about it. Go do other stuff first and then come back to it later. So whenever you press something down and it pops right back up, it's wet. So it's going to do that. So then you take a heat gun and you warm up the glass in that spot, and that heat will start drying it out much quicker, make the glue stick, and then you can press out little imperfections and stuff. So when I install the film, it's folded, slide it into the sides, and then I try and pull it out in a way. Oh, look, it's coming back just a little bit. I got this little guy here now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna heat that up. I'm gonna be careful not to burn his seal. Heat that up some. Touch the inside. Oh, it's still cold. Heat it up some more. Wait, it still feels kind of cold. Heat it up some more. Oh, now it's getting warm. Heat it up some more. Oh, still a little more, a little more. Then it gets to the point where it starts to hurt to touch the glass. Then we're gonna press it with the back corner of the tri-edge. Press all the air out of it. And this shit's gone. Touch-ups. So you're not gonna be able to take a big old dirt speck in the middle of the window and make it go away. This is for small little things on the edges. It's a process the customer doesn't need to see. Yeah, because you don't want to like point out flaws. Why would you do that? But that can be on all the doors in all the spots where I folded it. So one thing I'll do every time before I deliver a car, I will check those spots especially, warm them up, press them down, and you're good to go. All you're trying to do is like crush all the air out of it. There's not dirt there. And that's pretty much it. How did I get two? See? How did I get two lights? Before you take your GoPro off, could you show that 36-inch roll on the workhorse? Hey! You have good timing. You pay attention. All right, so this is the Workhorse 2. The Workhorse 1 and the Workhorse 2 suffer from the same roller placements because these are not tint machines. These are vinyl machines that happen to work well for window tinting. So let me just feed some film through here. All right, so on a 36-inch roll, you're going to have to press it all the way over here. So you're basically on this roller right here. There's 1, 2 rollers there. There's 1 roller here. Then you have 1, 2, 3 in the middle. And then you have this one right here. Let me scooch over this. So really, you're like halfway on a roller here, and you're halfway on a roller there. And then you clamp it down. That's the best position on this machine. And it's not ideal, but as long as your film's rolling straight, it should be fine. It'll work. What's a good plotter for starters? That one's younger brother. Get the Workhorse 1. It was a good starter plotter. You're only using 2 rollers? Yes. So the other reason you only use 2 rollers is you have grip rollers underneath. Those grip rollers will leave marks in your film. So if you use any of these rollers too, it'll leave impressions in your film. There was some plotter hack I saw a while ago. And it worked fine for me, but they said delete the video because other people were grinding their rollers down too much. You could take a file, you could lightly file down your grip rollers, and then you could use more rollers without having to worry about it leaving impressions. But, yeah, man, I wish there was a good place. So, like, if you look at the videos on plotterdepot.com, they'll teach you all this about their machines. You can look at their setups, installations, use. They have videos. But, yeah, everybody just kind of expects everybody to know this. With window tint, you only use the outside rollers because of that. With vinyl, you can use all the rollers, and that's why there's so many rollers on these machines, is these are really for vinyl. With vinyl, you have a hard paper backing underneath, and you have the soft vinyl on top. So the soft rollers on top aren't going to leave an impression, and the grip rollers is made to grab into the paper. But for window tint, we don't have a stiff paper backing. We have a thin plastic sheet backing. What's with the Lexan box? This is their HSA. This has been up there I didn't realize this was up there. This has been up there for probably about 2.5 years now. I pulled it down because the way that I was shrinking on these back windows means that you can shrink this stuff just like anything else. So, what time is it? Let me see what time it is. Oh, it's 4. Oh, I can't. I don't have time. It's 4:30 right now. Somebody booked? Oh, that was the guy I talked to earlier. Okay. Oh, I gotta call Tesla too. Main camera, and then can I change this one? Main. There we go. Hey. Could you teach me how to tint a back window with 2 pieces? No. Watch some YouTube videos. Nobody does that anymore. And if you want to do a 2-piece, there are videos. I highly suggest go looking those up. It's like a weird, outdated way that nobody does anymore. Because films shrink good now. Dawn or baby shampoo? Her Dawn is better. Slip, but could be harmful. I've always thought baby shampoo was better. Dawn was always a little bit more tacky. But use non-Dawn Ultra. Use regular if you're going to use that. But yeah, degreasers are bad for film. Dawn leaves a residue? Not that I've seen. I've tinted with Dawn. Like, dude, I've tinted with milk. You can tint with so many things that actually don't leave residue. Would I miss? Everything. Whoa. You want to see what my wife just made? I have to leave. Look at this. Ooh, that looks good. She was trying to make a different type of pork thing today. I'm excited. You've tinted with milk? Yes. I've got a Walmart video on the channel because I had a theory that their ceramic tint looked worse than tinting a window with milk, and I was right. You can actually tint with soapy milk. It dries out perfectly fine. Opinion on T-View? Oh, I just don't know how long it's going to last. Cheap dyed films are made with cheap materials, and dye is especially known for fading into that purple that everybody sees. That's just, they don't use UV inhibitors that are any good. So what happens is, yeah, those things, they fade over time. Because, okay, so on this car, what you have is you have sunlight passes through the glass, which has no UV protection, and it goes through the first thing, which is the glue, and then there should be a layer there should be UV inhibitors really in the glue as well as that top layer of film. And then you have like the polyester, and you have it, you know, it was made with dyes. That's how it gets its coloring and stuff. So when you just don't use very good materials, it's getting sun faded all day. That's where you get that bubbling, you get that purple. So with the film that's $95 on Amazon, it could last a long time. I don't know. You just have to put it on your car, and to put it on all my customers' cars, and then cross my fingers that I'm not going to have any problems down the road. I'm not going to do that. With Geo, what they have a lifetime warranty, and if there's a film failure, they replace the film and up to, they said, $235 worth of labor costs. So I would much rather have that safety blanket there. So if every car all of a sudden failed, I'm not going out of business. And I don't have to shell a bunch of money out of my pocket for new film. But for less expensive films, they're not going to have the money to then give you a very good warranty. So Lexan is the most asked about film. Do they have an FAQ? Here, let me pull this up. Returns, warranty, and referrals. So we'll pull this up really quick. No. Oh, did they take it off their site? They used to have it. Orders, shipping, product, general info. Well, that's annoying. Oh, warranty, here. Lexan provides limited time warranty, blah, 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 blah. Please fill out this warranty. We only reimburse tint materials and labor costs, excluding labor costs for removals, $150 max per warranty claim. The installer is responsible for the quality of tint installed. Please see. We only reimburse tint materials and labor costs, excluding labor costs of tint removals. Oh, they actually beefed it up. Well, good for them. They used to be like just window film. And they used to say something about, God, what was it? I used to say something about legality, too. So this is their warranty card. Okay, good. Well, they beefed it up. Good for them. But that's still not as much. So those are things that you always have to consider. Like, even Geo's not as good as Lumar's. Lumar's warranty is going to be... They reimburse, like, the total price of the job and labor costs, but their films cost more. So that's always like a sliding scale with this. It's just something to pay attention to. So when you are installing a lifetime warranty film and something fails, which it can, what is the company then going to do to reimburse you for their film that failed? Because you didn't do anything wrong if it failed. That shouldn't be on your shop. Is Lexan better than T-View? I just don't even use either one of them. Yeah, I would say Lexan's probably better than T-View, but just make sure that you don't get their cheapest one. My bro Vidal, he uses cigarette ash to dry shrink window tint. What other tricks have you used on rear windows? I've always used dryer sheets. Nothing, if I didn't have the right tool for the job, I wasn't really doing the job, but that is special. Nothing comes to mind. It just sprinkles cigarette ash all over the back window. Yeah, I guess that would work like baby powder, but it sounds as... Yeah, it sounds pretty rough. But I'm sure it worked. Would you be pretty confident Geo would be able to withstand Arizona's sun and heat pretty decently? Yep, so the film company is actually in Louisiana. And it doesn't matter where your film is installed, it's still under warranty. A lot of Newport 100s. Dude, so many shops smoke. It's just working around car guys all day. I used to. Not anymore, though. How many cars do you do in a day normally? Normally 1 or 2. I don't do that many anymore. I used to do a lot more than that. I just don't feel like it. Because I do these videos and I sit on stream for like 3 hours. So then I don't have time. Alrighty. I gotta shout out some super chats. And I actually gotta call this customer and stuff. They say dryer sheets are healthy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, I used to work for a lot of different shops. And it was like, at the end of like every hour, there'd be like every hour smoke break. Definitely not a healthy thing to do. Alrighty. So we're going to shout out some supers. Big thank you to Danny Sereno. Oh, okay, cool. That was the problem with the order. Film trainer, Daniel Reyna, Daniel, and Jet Black window tint. Thank you guys so much for all the supers today. I really appreciate ya. What's a standard for contamination? Seems impossible to not get any. Yeah, there's usually something that you'll be able to point out. Little speck here or there. It should be pretty minor though. There's no standard for your customers. Whenever your customers see something that they don't like, that they're gonna bring to your attention, you should take care of it. Because what's gonna happen is if you're gonna try and argue them out of the shop and just like, you can reason and say like, but at the end of the day, they're gonna feel like you're brushing them off because you just did a job and they're not happy with the job. So what they want you to do is, like, they went out of their way to bring it to your attention, so I would take care of them. Not everybody's going to do that. But don't kick yourself over, like, a couple really small things. Most people aren't going to notice. But, yeah, there really isn't any type of, like, the IWFA standard is stand 5 feet away and look at it at an angle. But some people put their nose against the glass and be like, what is this? Overall, you should just have a nice impression of clean. So when you just look at it, you're just like, whoa, there's nothing that should stand out. So when you have lines, when you have groupings, those types of things start to stand out. I'm just a small garage tint guy, but learned so much from you, man. Aw, I appreciate that. What's the best window film you like? Geo? I like Geo. It's up there on the wall. Whoa! Talk about smoking. Oh, good times. Aw, Robert with the 20. Nice timing on that one. Just because, thanks, man. Hey, man, I really appreciate you. That was a big one. Unboxing the shop. Yeah, no kidding. Alrighty, guys. I got a couple things I got to do. It's the end of the day, too. I forget that I started streaming later. So I got to hop off here. Thanks to you, everybody, for hanging out, and especially Robert for that last super chat. I appreciate ya. Y'all have a good one. Oh, wow. Hang on. Oh, no, we can't start this now. Mike Honda with the 20. Newport 100. That's how many he had to smoke to get all that ash to put on a back window. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the 20. I really have to go. So I'm going to shut it down. It's a good way to end it, though. I'll be back soon. Bye.